if I saw Will Ferrell in person, my first reaction would be to punch him in the face because I like hate him so much.
Wow.
Greetings, everybody. Welcome back after a few weeks off. It is us at the Heroes Peak podcast. I am your host, Chris, and we're here to talk about entertainment, culture, and whatever the hell we feel like. With today, of course, it's the whole gang. We're going to start with Brooksy. How are you doing, Brooksy, after all this time? Good to see you.
Great. Just wanted to say happy birthday to you. Hope you had a good vacation.
Oh, you remembered. Wow. What do you get my work numbers?
You're the Jai of this crew. I totally forgot.
Yeah, that sucks.
Thank you. I was
also,
driving to Florida on my birthday and had a great meal.
Oh, Florida. Hope
Get
you
some Southern cooking.
got COVID tested when you got home.
Oh shoot.
Oh no, I had my meal in Georgia, which makes a big difference.
Good.
So anyway, how was your week off? 2 weeks off?
It was great. I like to say that I had a really good about month of raw dogging air here in LA, and we are back to being masked up.
The pauses are just terrible. The pauses, man.
Terrible pauses.
Terrible placement of pauses.
Terrible pause placement.
Y'all have dirty minds. That's really what it is.
Or the best pause placements. All right.
The choppy phone reception. Raw dog.
That commercial, AT&T.
Yeah, the old AT&T commercial.
Wait, what's going on over there?
All right. So also with us, of course, is the man in charge behind the scenes, our Tony Stark. It's Mike. How you doing?
I'm okay. I'm a little sad. I heard back from the Olympic Committee, and they will not be adding the White Castle eating competition to the Summer Olympics. So once again, I will not be in the next Olympics.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Mike. Sorry to hear that.
You know it's going to be in Paris, so they're going to have mayonnaise instead of ketchup in their
Oh my god,
fries.
so disgusting.
Hey, they have good other food, just weird condiments.
Mayonnaise is not a ketchup replacement.
No, it's not.
It's an improvement.
You've been in Canada too long.
I was gonna say Canada has put some weird stuff on their fries, but it's generally pretty good.
I like the poutine.
Yeah, that shit's good. Yeah, they put all like pork butt. Speaking of butt, they put pork butt on their
Speaking of butt,
I want some mutton and gravy on my fries.
Oh man, that sounds good.
Savages.
All right. Coming to us probably double duty watching the NBA draft right now. It's Keith. How you doing, Keith? How was your month?
NBA draft, favorite time of year. Let's go Knicks. Do the right thing.
Are they doing the right thing, or like you guys are telling me that it's the draft is how they're entertaining?
They don't pick yet. I actually want them to trade out all those picks for something, but let's go.
Maybe they'll hear you. Maybe they'll hear
me.
Advice. And last but not least, the father of the year. It's James. How you doing, Jake?
Yeah, thank you. Speaking of Father of the Year, a special shout out to my vehicle, which I used to call affectionately as the Bat, as I watched the tow truck haul her away today. I was expecting it to burst out to the Bat Pod, but that's not the case. So yeah, shout out to the Father of the Year. Yeah, girl dad. Yeah, girls driving their dad's car and wrecking it. Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait till she
got that out.
You gotta stand there and watch as she watches this, so she can see you shouting her out to the entire.
Heck yeah. Heck yes.
So
glad to be here, Chris. Let's go.
As you can see, I got a new hat, and I just wanted to show it off.
Yeah, I can't read it.
Oh, nice.
Or do not. There is no try.
I made the mistake of stopping by a Disney hotel. I didn't go into the park. I didn't do any of that, but I still spent money at Disney somehow
Disney.
without actually visiting the park. They just attract my money,
Hashtag FD.
as you can see.
FD.
Already, Brooks, it's too early. Jesus.
That was
Oh, man.
directed strictly to Chris.
Yeah. I can't help it. It just happens. What am I supposed to do? My wallet jumped out of my pocket. It ran around. Pick some stuff.
Oh boy.
All right.
Woo-hoo.
Anyway, so we've got 3 things. We're going to talk about some sports today. We're going to talk about sports-related entertainment, Space Jam, and we're going to end with more Disney. We're going to talk about the finalizing of the Loki series today. So, no, the choppiness is probably still on me. It's probably my computer's still slow.
That's correct.
Unfortunately, every time I spend money at Disney, I'm not spending money at Apple.
See,
All right.
that's the problem.
The anti-Disney.
I always actually for a while there, I thought they were going to make a big deal together and stuff like that before Disney Plus became a thing and all that streaming. I really thought they were going to make a huge deal, but it never came through. It doesn't matter.
They lied to you.
That's right.
Slow and steady,
Yes.
Apple. Slow
I
and
gotta
steady.
save up. I gotta save myself up like $700 to get my a decent replacement. Anyway, that has
$700.
What?
nothing
Yeah.
to do with what we're talking about. All right, so let's start with the NBA draft. We're gonna keep this rather quick because apparently it just started. It's only been a few picks. How far are they, guys?
They are on pick number 11. Looks like the Pelicans. The Pelicans are on the clock. No, not the Pelicans. I'm sorry. The Hornets. Hornets are on the clock.
Any big
Michael Jordan.
No, any big names go number 1, number 2? Anything interesting?
Yeah, so the number 1 pick was pretty, I won't say pretty obvious, but everyone kind of felt like this is the guy that's going to go. It's Cade Cunningham from OSU, Oklahoma State University. He,
Like you,
I mean, I know people are trying to compare him to like Luka Doncic. I see him more like Grant Hill. Remember Grant Hill before all the injuries? You know, he's also drafted by Detroit Pistons, and he was like the two-way player, 6'8", lanky, that can guard, rebound, defend, shoot. At the time when he came out in the, I think 94, came out of Duke, folks were going to compare him to, as if back then everyone compared him to Michael Jordan, Anthony Hardaway, Grant Hill, but he was like the prototype forward that can consistently average a triple-double, which wasn't around. Back then, either you're a guard or really you're a guard getting triple-doubles. So to me, I think Cade Cunningham, when you're thinking about what type of impact he's going to have in NBA, just think of early Grant Hill. That's my thoughts on him. And he has an interesting backstory, too. You know, he was a young father, age 16. Apparently, he's smart enough to have his own dietary practice of being a vegan.
It's vegan.
You know,
that's smart.
So God bless to him. You know,
Maybe he has a medical condition.
maybe.
It's called being an elite athlete.
We'll see. I think he's going to a city that's going to need him immediately, Detroit. The Pistons haven't been relevant for a long time. So, and I know Detroit, I already heard, what's his name, the rapper from Eminem's old crew, D12, was giving him a shout out on Twitter. So it's a good thing for him, for the NBA, for the city of Detroit. This is probably one of the deepest draft classes that I could think of because a lot of folks are comparing this to the 2003 draft where they had LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh,
Carmelo Anthony,
Kendrick Perkins, Big Perk.
Well, I mean, a lot has been spoken about this draft, but like I feel like we still have to wait to see it play out. Like,
Yeah. And there's even some international players or not. Unfortunately, this year is the first year where folks didn't get a chance to see some of these players because of COVID. So they're only getting videotapes of them performing in Euro leagues and African leagues. And in fact, one of the top 3 international guys is playing in Spain right now. He's playing in the Olympics in Tokyo. So we're not even touching the international market yet. We're just talking about the American-based athletes. And yeah, this is going to be an interesting season. You know, as we know, Bucks pulled it out. So every team in the league is looking to get themselves either a future Giannis or someone that's going to make a direct impact automatically. If you're in the lottery pick, obviously, if you're not, then like
Oh,
you know,
the team,
Knicks and the Lakers, you
the
got
draft
other
is
things.
supposed to be very deep, though. Like you're talking about, like they're talking about difference makers all the way up to like 20, pick 25, 27. So it's going to be an interesting year. It's a lot of talent coming out this draft, man.
That's true. That's all I got, Chris.
Well, it's a lot to cover with that kind of sports, but we don't have the time today. We are going to move on quickly because the next biggest story in the world right now is the Olympics are currently happening in Japan, and there's been a lot of big stories coming out of there. Let's start with the biggest one. Miss Simone Biles, the current GOAT of the Olympics women's gymnastics world, unfortunately got what it was called the twisties and decided to drop from the all around the finals. Now, no, Mike doesn't actually believe that.
Mike is being a Skip Bayless.
Don't send us your hate mail, because we say if you need to take the break, if you're gonna hurt yourself, if you're gonna hurt your team, by all means, take care of yourself. Please do. Mental health is as important as your physical health.
And, she obviously didn't train at Cobra Kai, so
Cobra Kai. Especially with this, I mean, the descriptions I've seen of what the twisties do basically prevent a gymnast from being able to understand their placement in space as they do these crazy tricks. Is pretty wild. I don't know why anybody would expect some. Well, we know what people receive out of it, the Olympic trainers and shit like that. They're the ones who really caused a lot of heartache in the past. But I actually have a question here. You guys have all been watching the Olympics in some shape, manner, or form?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's my question for you. When you're watching the Olympics, which sport do you sit down and go, holy shit, I would probably die if I was forced to participate in this sport?
For me, it's pretty easy. Swimming, because I can't swim.
I got this idea.
Literally die.
I got this idea sitting.
As soon as I jump in there, I'm gone.
Water polo.
On your marks, and go.
So
medic.
So James and I will not be doing synchronized diving anytime soon.
Bring the body bags for that one.
So I was watching water polo, and I'm like, I can't, I can do a basic swim, but they tread water. They tread water, as well as having a ball thrown at their heads, other people pushing on them. I'm like, I'm gonna die. I would die. I can't get that close to water polo. So it's all swimming? Is it all swimming, or is there another sport that you watch and you're like, holy shit? If someone put a gun in my head...
That's probably number one for me. That's probably number one for me. The rest I can half-ass and be like the terrible amateur.
Yeah, I could try it. It's not like,
yeah.
I don't think there's anything I couldn't try, probably except for, like James said, the swimming. I'm not a great swimmer, so let me see. Like I could do 100 meter, but it'll take me 47 seconds. But
right,
I won't even be able to move 3 meters in a deep pool. So yeah.
Well, like James, do you think you could compete in the Olympic level weightlifting?
No,
any of those competitions.
I could probably warm the guys up, bring the weights over. Yeah, I could do that. It's pretty good for me. I can carry 45-pound plates to the bar for them, set them up, spot them. I can do that.
I was watching rugby, and I just imagined someone tossing you the ball in Olympic level rugby, and I'm like,
shit is vicious. Have you watched that?
I did. I caught my New Zealand Australian one. Man, they take that personal.
No,
one of
Fiji.
My favorite.
Was it Fiji? Wasn't it Fiji? Fiji won, didn't they?
Yeah. This is a prelim.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay.
I was watching the Canadian women today. Man, them girls is tough.
Women's rugby?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough.
Dude, I look in the face of the male rugby players, like it'll be like one full set of teeth among like the whole team. I'm way cool on even seeing any babes do that.
Yeah.
100% cool.
And I'd still
Did you-
last longer on a rugby field than I would in an Olympic swimming
Cool.
pool.
The
That would be your
1500.
favorite environment. Plus, you're
I
fast.
watched-
You're quick on your feet, so you good.
I watched the 1500-meter swim, and I'm like, how? I'm looking at my watch. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
How do you swim at full?
Yeah, to give you an
full out
idea,
for 15 minutes.
they started that race on the networks. They won a couple laps. They cut to commercial.
Commercial. I was watching that.
And
Yeah,
they
with
came back,
Ledecky. And it
and it
came
was still
back,
going.
and I was like 8 laps to go. I was like, holy cow. And then she picked up speed. Then they were talking about how her back half is even better.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Wow.
how's that
Oh, yeah.
possible? If I'm running a mile, I'm not gonna say my third lap is my fastest lap. That's just what the hell?
No, that's some serious control though. If you're in the water and you're like, I got 12 laps, so for the first 6, I'm gonna go 1.5 meters per second, and then in the last 6, I'm gonna go 1.7.
Yeah, they're saying she's counting her strokes each
Yeah.
lap, and I'm like, and while you're
Crazy.
breathing, while all this stuff is happening, that's some world class stuff.
Yeah, I watched
That's
the
toughest
4
for
by
me.
That's why
4
these
by
people
2.
compete in the Olympics.
Wait, I didn't hear Keith's. What's Keith's worst sport that he would die in?
Worst sport?
What sport do you think would kill you were you forced to compete in Olympics?
It'd have to be the swimming. I can swim. I can swim, but
Well,
like
this includes the surfing too, by the way. Throw that in there too.
Oh,
anything-
anything! Holy
anything-
shit!
anything water related, I definitely think like I would. Yeah. Yeah, I would be very cool on any of the water related.
Keith, you can swim. I've seen you. You can at least move.
That's what I'm saying. I can swim. I can swim, and that still scares me. Like, open bodies of water. Nah, I'm good. I'm super cool.
I read a great joke today. Somebody said, "Look, in the water, a shark could take me. On land, I could take the shark." So it all comes down to cycling the triathlon.
Cycling in the triathlon. Triathlon does look like though.
Yeah, that's tough.
That shit, they start in the water. Oh,
yeah,
my
so you're
God.
dead
Okay.
immediately.
That's right. I don't even get there. Brooks, what Olympic event do you think would kill you were you to attempt to participate?
I'm gonna go like 95% of them would probably kill me if I participated in them.
Wait,
No,
table tennis
air
would kill
pistol.
you? Table tennis
Thinking
would
of
kill
like
you?
Air pistol.
I-
Yeah.
I said 95% of them, so not table tennis, but I mean, if I were to attempt to compete at an Olympic level where I'm at now, you know what I mean? Like I'm trying to do 45 minutes of spin class in the morning with the mask on, and I'm like halfway through, I'm like, today's the day I die. Today's the day I fall off like that, you know? So like
Damn.
I definitely think swimming though. Anything swimming, especially like surfing, because I am mortified of open water, even though I will
swim
push
also.
myself.
Like you and Keith can both swim.
It's just
I can like
water, man. Like what the open
The-
water of it all is just a danger. Yeah.
And
Water.
if you
You
look,
don't
like
respect the water enough.
what gets me is like when you see them get out of the water, and all of them have shoulders that are like this. They look like, you look at the rugby players, you're like, those guys are big, but the swimmers, the pro swimmer shoulders.
They got
are the
45-inch
biggest
TV
things.
screen shoulders.
Yeah.
A
or
flat
like the
screen
water
TV.
polo player.
Okay, I give you 1 year to train. Which one do you want to try and compete in? Like
At my age now or at my prime when I was younger?
Wait,
I'll
is
give you-
this
I'll give
no?
you
You
your
have 1 year
prime.
to train.
You have 1 year
my
to train.
prime?
I'll give you your prime. What one do you want
Wait.
to compete in? Doesn't matter if you win
Question.
or not. It's still gonna be the worst, but
I have a
Yes.
question. Is this Summer
Yes.
Olympics, Winter Olympics, or both?
I'm going with summer because we're watching the summer now.
Okay. I have an answer. Mine
Go for
is
it.
soccer because I used to play soccer when I was a kid, and I love
Nice.
watching soccer and look up to all the women's soccer players.
Speaking of women's quarterfinals tomorrow, don't forget.
I was
Thank
about
you
to
for the
say, Mike,
reminder.
you cannot say women's beach volleyball, by the way.
Oh, for me, probably be baseball. That's my sport. So.
Nice.
I'd
James,
go
what sport?
men's 73-kilogram weightlifting.
Oh, nice.
There you go.
Am I prime? Yeah.
Mhm.
I wouldn't medal, obviously not. But
Right. We'd all lose. Don't worry. This is
10 of
not
us
about-
would medal.
Keith.
you in soccer, because American women are just dominant in soccer. Anyway.
Yeah.
You could be in
That's
the
right.
bench.
Yeah, I will
You're
ride
on
the bench all day.
I'm carrying their water bottles.
I would do that now, right now, today.
Megan
That's
Rapinoe,
right.
here's your Gatorade. Here's your water.
Oh my God. If I ever met her, I would cry. So hopefully I don't meet her because it'd be really awkward.
I
Be
think
like, stop
I
asking
think-
me to sign things already.
That's right. I think
she
in my
lives in
prime,
Brooklyn. Her and Sue Bird, they live in Brooklyn together.
I
Sorry,
would
Sorry,
try
go ahead, Chris.
Greco-Roman wrestling.
Okay.
Oh, did you wrestle when you were young? I think you did, right?
I wrestled in high school, but yeah, I was
Oh.
terrible. But I wrestled in high
Do
school.
you have any pictures of that?
That would be funny.
Juicy.
I'll find them. Don't worry.
Somewhere
I'll find them.
somewhere in my mother's house in a shoebox somewhere is a picture of
In a-
me under 90 pounds wearing a singlet. Yes.
Looking like this. Looking like this.
Looking like Bruno San Martino.
The pose.
More like Hacksaw Jim
I-
Duggan.
because you have to hear things.
Mm-hmm.
I was tiny. I was the tiniest kid, and I actually wrestled a kid smaller than me and lost. Like I was awful.
He was really scrappy.
He was.
He was
and I
scripted
was-
to win. You didn't know that. You just didn't know. He
He
was
was
scripted
scripted.
to win.
Damn, man! I shouldn't have wrestled under a man.
He's like, I thought this was real. Yeah, okay, boy. Get this pin
All right,
down real quick.
Keith, what would you want to compete in?
Luge.
Okay. Interested, boy.
I like the
But cool.
luge.
Yeah, we should all just make our own bobsled team for the winter.
I think so. Like it looks super fun. Like
Oh man. Hey, if the
Are
Jamaicans
you
still
thinking?
live,
Are you
something
thinking
we-
of that Jamaican bobsledding movie, or you're actually watching some of these?
Dude,
Like,
that also
events?
looks like you could die
No,
in a
bobsled looks
bobsled.
fun. Yeah, I've watched bobsled all the time.
Yeah,
Dude, see
Winter
those around
Olympics
those
is huge
four
up here
corners?
because we
'Cause
tend to do
Canada,
better. Yeah.
Canada. Yeah,
All right.
we tend to
All
do
right. Now
better.
that
When there's ice and
Um,
snow involved, the Canadians tend to do better.
That's a fact.
so
Yeah.
before we come off of this, America, you have to pick it up. We're currently third in the medal race, even though we are the most overall, 38. We are
Mhm.
third in the gold medal race. Japan and China both have 15 gold medals. And
Yeah, I'm looking at it
it's
right
not-
now.
Yeah, we're below
It's-
expectations for this point in the Olympics. Team America, that is.
That's right. But we have to say, as soon as he came in for the Americans and got gold in the all-around
Yeah.
oh,
Yep. Shout out to her.
great work. Hey, when
America
one,
gets
one
saved
goat,
by an immigrant once again.
Mhm.
when one goat steps down, it leaves room for somebody else to come up and take that title. And
That is true.
That's right. You know, where would we be if Tom Brady didn't go in because
Bledsoe.
lost his
Drew
name.
Bledsoe.
Ble-
Drew
Bledsoe
Bledsoe.
didn't get nailed. Definitely wouldn't be at 10 titles for the 8 rings, right? 8 rings?
7
I think-
7 rings. You're off today, Chris. 7 rings. 7 rings.
He's been gone
Seven
for a
rings
while.
with-
Give him a second.
I know.
All right, whatever. It doesn't really matter. That's fine.
He's
Yeah,
still in
so-
Florida man mode.
I wish. I really wish.
Wrestling Gators.
It was so nice down there. All right, everybody, we are going to move on to Space Jam: A New Legacy, and we'll do that
After our break.
10 seconds.
After a message from these sponsors.
All right, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us, and we're here to talk a few minutes about Space Jam: A New Legacy, the new film starring LeBron James, and LeBron James. Oh yeah, Don Cheadle's in it too, by the way. Yeah, this is a continuation, sequel, something reboot of the Space Jam movie from 2002, I believe, something like that. This one stars LeBron James and his entire family, Don Cheadle as Algae Rhythm, and apparently the Looney Tunes, though they were non-important characters apparently, and directed by Malcolm D. Lee, as you may know him from Undercover Brother.
I like that one.
And 10 credits to writers. There were a lot of writers on this movie.
Jesus.
So,
can I just make one correction, Chris?
absolutely.
The original Space Jam came out in 1996.
1996. Where did I 2002? I don't know. My brain is not working today. Don't mind me. I left half of it in 3,000 miles away. All right. So,
before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
You've heard of this. You've seen this, right? You know what that is.
It is unavoidable. It is your destiny.
Is this not why you are here?
Do or do not. There is no try.
Knock that shit off.
This movie starts out as a LeBron James love film and then moves into a LeBron James family film with a side of Looney Tunes. What did you guys think of Space Jam: New Legacy? Brooksy, I'm going to go with you first.
I thought it was not good. I thought LeBron James is a really bad actor. It just was like so overly corny. I couldn't really figure out the plot. I mean, it seems straightforward, but dumb. I don't know. It was hard to watch, but I think if I had kids that played basketball, I think they would be interested in watching this. I think it was very much a kid's film. I mean, I remember watching the original Space Jam and thought it was like so amazing and so cool and like loved it so much, but that was also 25 years ago. So I don't know, I'm a different person, but yeah, I don't know. And the other thing I have to say about this, which has nothing to do with the film, is that LeBron James spends a lot of time talking about that he doesn't want to be compared to Michael Jordan, but then does a lot of things that allows that comparison. And that just like also kind of annoyed me for the whole film.
It's true. All right, Mike, go for it. Tell us what to love about Space Jam.
So I watched this because I saw the first one many years ago. I enjoyed the first one, So I was like, all right, I'll check it out. The thing is too, I'm a Looney Tunes fan. The Warner Brothers animated catalog. I enjoy all their stuff. So that's the other reason I watched this. And I like those collaboration movies with the Looney Tunes. Like, God, what's the one?
Back in Action.
No, Roger Rabbit was a great
one. You're just thinking generic animation and live action.
Yeah, but I'm talking about
Looney Tunes.
But I'm talking about like crossing over all these different animated characters into the movies, right? And Space Jam, the first one had that, and it was great. And this one, I was hoping for more of that, but it kind of just went off into the Warner Brothers catalog instead of just their animated characters. And that's where that kind of lost me. I mean, it was cool to see them in the audience during the game and stuff, like, oh, there's Batman and Penguin and etc. But and like Brooksy said, the plot was simple, but it was just corny. But take the movie is what it is, right? I still enjoyed like Bugs and all the characters, so that's what I watched it for anyway. Just the reminisce on the old cartoons, right? So
Yeah, I'm a huge animation fan. I love Looney Tunes. Most people love the Looney Tunes, but this was a Looney Tunes movie. Unfortunately, like the old one, the last one was a Looney Tunes movie where they plucked
right.
Michael Jordan, and he was still good. You weren't, but he wasn't the lead in the movie. Like, Bugs Bunny was the lead in the movie, and then Michael Jordan was just being a stilted regular dude in front of a camera. Whereas this felt like this was a LeBron James movie about him and a family movie kind of thing, and then they had threw the Warner Brothers IP catalog at it. I don't even mind. Like you said, having a shot of the stands and you're going, oh, like it's the It clown next to that whatever thing, next to the Iron Giant. That's funny, but I think they tried. Sometimes it felt like they tried too hard to include those things instead of just making them side jokes. I wanted more Looney Tunes and Looney Tunes stuff and less of a really not a great actor. I mean, what did you guys think? Did you think it gave some of that fun? Am I just are we too old? Are kids like watching this and enjoying it? You know, this kid wants to make video games. His dad wants him to do something else. Is this like are the kids into it? Maybe.
Could be.
I did read somewhere that the kids were into it. Like there was a big hit with the kids, but I think mostly probably that's all about like LeBron James more than the movie being good. That's my guess, anyways.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe Algae Rhythm had something there, and he knew that adding LeBron James is some Looney Tune action, and you'll make some money.
But the thing is, so I mean, I gotta wonder if do kids really connect with Looney Tunes like we did, because we were constantly watching them.
Good question.
I don't see Looney Tunes on TV like they used to be.
I think
like, so the kids know these characters, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess what are kids watching? Mine's are a little bit older, so they're not necessarily watching, Looney Tunes on Saturday morning. There's no more Saturday morning cartoons, so where are they getting their Looney Tunes?
There's no more Saturday morning cartoons?
No, they're all gone.
A long time.
Nope, they're dead. Doesn't
I'd
exist.
still be watching if there were.
I mean, your kids can watch whenever they want, but it's not like Looney Tunes are a big constant anymore, because kids can watch whatever. So you get a popular show like a Rick and Morty or something like that, and it kind of takes over, and the kids watch that over and over and over again, and doesn't have to. Oh well, it's 9:00, so Rick and Morty's over. So what am I watching next? It's
right.
If I want to watch the Legos Ninjago, I watch the Legos Ninjago for 40 hours. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's fair. Watching habits are different.
Yeah, but I think it was big enough. It could be interesting. Maybe we're right. We are way out of. Even as an animation fan, I thought it was fine, somewhat entertaining. There are better versions of this same, see the entire IP.
I didn't
catalog.
like how. So if we're talking about animation styles or just how they filmed this movie, like they dragged LeBron into an animated character for like almost half an hour.
Yeah, the classic animation
and then they
style.
dragged the classic animated characters into
CGI.
some kind of 3D CGI thing, which I thought was terrible too. Like, God, anyway.
Unnecessary changes in style throughout, so inconsistent visually. So I don't know.
It was doing too much, and it didn't need to. And I think maybe that's like the first Space Jam movie didn't do all of that, and maybe that's what made it better, But this one, it felt like they were just trying to do all these like tricks, or like it wasn't the content of the movie that was making it good. It was like the tricks and the different things they were doing. That they were trying to make it good, which actually failed.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were definitely.
In my
It definitely felt a little try hard.
Yeah,
Again,
exactly.
the final say for each of us will go ahead, and I'll say, don't run out and watch it, but your kids can watch it. They might have a good time with it. That's fine. But as an adult, if you're like, oh, I love the first Space Jam, there's no reason to go watch this. It's not bringing back anything that you enjoyed about the last one. That's really doing anything for you. That's about it.
Yeah.
So why don't we give grades and anything last words you have, Mike? What are your last words and grade for Space Jam and like?
Yeah, so overall, I think this was a movie that should have been done 10 years ago, probably with Kobe. And,
Yeah. Well, I don't.
or
I guess I don't know.
It doesn't matter who the athlete is, right? But you know what I mean. It should have been done 10 years ago. My grade on this is going to be a C.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Brooksy.
I felt like the movie was unnecessary, and I'm going to give it a D for doo-doo.
Dun dun dun.
Your favorite.
My favorite
I
grade.
guess I'm also gonna say the movie. I don't like unnecessary. You got to use the IP at some point. The Looney Tunes should always come back around. They are fun and are great characters. But it's right waiting all of this time just so you can find another basketball player who's also very popular. I think this would be more fun. Maybe if you find maybe a Simone Biles or something like that, where you make it different sports and they have to do these different things and they pull in these different characters. Just make it smaller but more fun. This didn't feel
that was one thing that I thought was really corny. It was like the AI played by Don Cheadle decided the way they would settle it was through a basketball game, right? Like it didn't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. It just like, I don't even want to do plot holes with ridiculousness, but it just felt heavy-handed, especially like I didn't need to see LeBron parenting.
So was one of those writers Chris Terrio? Because that would make more sense to me.
The writers, I didn't even write down the names because I didn't.
No, don't worry about it. I'll look it up later. But I think James wants to chime in.
James, hey, did you want to chime in?
Like Tom Holland in Civil War. Hey, everyone. Yeah, so clearly I did not finish watching the movie. I watched it with Eric. He quit first before I quit. Yeah, you guys covered it for the most part. I didn't think it was a good movie. Clearly, it was a money grab. I have nothing but respect for LeBron off the court. I love what he's doing outside of the basketball court. The fact that he's got his production company with Warner Brothers doing this and possibly other stuff for other athletes. I watched the Naomi Osaka thing on Netflix, which is his production company was behind. So I preface my final comments on this movie by saying nothing but respect for LeBron. You know, hats off to him. I admire him a lot off the field, off the court. This movie, however, was terrible. Should never have been made. You guys said everything. I like the idea that Mike said about Kobe 10 years ago. That would have been very, very interesting, especially now that we know how tight Kobe was with Jordan based on Jordan's eulogy speech. I feel bad for the actress that plays his wife from Orange is the New Black and also Handmaid's Tale. She's a phenomenal actress.
I thought they were all his family.
No, these are actors.
Not his real
It's not his real son.
They're all
his real wife. No, the actress is from. She came out Orange is the New Black.
She's on Star Trek Discovery now. She's
on Star Trek Discovery. Yes. Oh yeah.
Walking Dead. Yeah.
Walking Dead, like one season, and then Handmaid's Tale. She's had a recruit.
My reading comprehension was really awful because I looked at IMDb and I went, oh, Dom James, he must be his son.
The reason why I bring that up is I feel these actors and actresses that played alongside him must have been a tough day on the set for them, and I feel for them. So my grade is incomplete, but let's be honest, it's going to be an F.
Yeah, I think a fun movie would be like, okay, you're repeating kind of Space Jam, but now Bugs has to recruit 3 or 4 different popular athletes, but you keep everything animated, keep everything fun.
I like that.
Stop.
That's a great idea, Chris. Expand.
You
like the
bring
sequel
in-
should be expand into other sports. Get a football
this
player
felt-
that's like Patrick
Yeah,
Mahomes.
By the way, the funniest, speaking of Jordan, the funniest line in that movie is when they thought they got Jordan back, and it turned out to be
Okay,
Michael.
that was
was
a funny, that was a
actually
great scene.
funny. That
Yeah. And that was the funniest
I
line in the
agree.
movie. And they spoiled that in the trailer, by the way. So that was a waste.
Yeah, unfortunately. All right, so I guess I'm gonna say I give it a D plus. D plus.
That's like the lowest grade you ever. What'd you give Zack Snyder?
D. Pretty sure I give
Okay.
it a D.
All right, I was gonna say I
because
thought this was the lowest grade.
I won't give up because that's unnecessary here. I'm actually really surprised at how bad he was. I was like, oh, I've seen him in commercials. He seems comfortable in the camera, but he wasn't. Can you imagine this movie made 10 years ago with a Rock coming off of, his line of kids movies? That would be fun, like him with his personality and whatnot. I was expecting more from LeBron out of this, I think, is what really hit me.
Yeah,
I
me
thought
too. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Because
Space Jam
he's in.
3 starring Giannis.
All right, everybody. All right, that's it for this. We're going to move. When we come back, we will be talking Loki. It's right there. So here we are. We're back with everybody, and we're going to talk season 7 of Loki, which we have all. Unlike some
Seven.
The what now?
Season 7.
Damn, what time zone do you have?
Seven episodes.
This is not
series.
our Chris. This is a variant. Who's this Chris?
Okay.
Wait.
Our Chris is
All
clean
right.
shaven.
I think we need to try that again.
The 7 episode series.
6.
Loki.
It's 6.
It's 6.
What?
The musical Loki. You know, the winner of
Hold on a
America's Got
second.
Talent.
Because if I go
Loki's
to,
Got Talent.
when I was on IMDb,
Mm-hmm.
Trust your feelings. You know it to be true.
6 episodes,
So-
yep. I'm looking at it.
You know without knowing.
Jeez.
You are the master.
So I was looking at the writers, and the head writer has 7 episodes written for Loki.
Mm.
So I that's what I looked at. So why?
Hmm.
How did he write 7 episodes if there's only 6 episodes? Sarah,
Well, I'm sure.
a hidden.
Well, remember that season 2 is actually supposed to be season 1 part 2.
Yeah.
All right. Well, okay, everybody. We're back. We're going to talk Loki, the 6 episode series on Disney Plus. That is what we're going to be talking about today. So, as we mentioned before, Loki stars Tom Hiddleston, Sophia DiMartino, and Jonathan Majors as He Who Remains, directed by Kate Herron. And writers, this is an interesting thing. The 2 head writers, Michael Waldron is writing Doctor Strange,
Mhm.
and Bisha K. Ali is writing Miss Marvel. So
Nice.
two writers of this show are moving on to other Marvel projects, which I
Also,
find extremely
diversity and
interesting.
inclusion. Shout outs to that.
That's right. Also, I'll call out Elisa Karasik. She's also one of the writers, and Eric Martin, but they are not writing, as far as IMDb is concerned, other Marvel projects. So here we are. We've had a little bit discussion on Loki this series before, right? Probably just after the first episodes.
Off the record, yeah.
No, well, we did a little thing after like the 3rd episode, and we did a couple quick beats. I think.
Mike and I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
We
Yes,
had a
we did.
main discussion after like the first episode.
Yeah.
Right. So, anybody who has not seen Loki, we are going to do a spoiler-filled discussion. Go watch it. It's good enough to watch. After that, then come back and listen to our spoiler-filled discussion.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
You've heard of this. You've seen this, right? You know what that is.
It is unavoidable. It is your destiny.
Is this not why you are here?
Do or do not. There is no try.
Knock that shit off.
So, where do we want to start with the Loki series? Do you think that the Tom Hiddleston's Loki character, do you think he's the main protagonist here? Do you think Sylvie took over at some point? Where do we think that character ends up after a series like this, where he goes through a very turnaround from the Avengers 1 Loki, and in 2 episodes, he's now Endgame Loki again, nice guy trying to save the world. Where is this character now after all of
Chris,
this?
let me just take a first stab at this. I know when we did a pod months ago about all the Disney Plus shows, what we're expecting from Winter Soldier, Falcon and Winter Soldier, WandaVision, and Loki. I had mentioned I thought this show would have been the least exciting for me because the simple fact of the Loki character we watched in the regular MCU, the Infinity Saga, up until the moment of his death at Thanos, I thought that was a full picture. I couldn't imagine what a show like this would give me more
Completely
leave off the character. So when you're asking a question about where we see now watching the show in its totality, season 1 anyway, where do we think we see this character heading? To me, I think, and I was totally wrong in my first, going back to what I thought the show would be, that there is more to this character that we can find. I don't quite agree with the assumption that the Loki that's by the finale is close to the Loki that was at Endgame after we watched him through the Thor trilogies and the Avengers one movie and Infinity War. I think this is still a different Loki. He's not quite as altruistic as a Loki that we saw by the time we get to Infinity War Endgame, or Infinity War, I should say. I think he's more of a hybrid of the Loki we met from Avengers 1 and the Ragnarok Loki because his experiences are different. Season 2 is going to be probably more of a search on what happens for Loki now. Loki is on a different path than we've ever seen him before. And that's intriguing to me. I thought this was a great job for the character Loki that I never expected I was going to get from this show. And I think season 2 is probably going to show us how he's going to try to correct the events from, correcting the timeline while also coming to because I don't think we're going to pass season 2. I think this is going to be the definitive end of the Loki character in MCU. So I think it's going to be a lot more about Loki's backstory and what caused him to become the Loki that we meet in Thor 1, and also how Loki's character is going to evolve. What's the final condition that we're going to see Loki at the end, whether win or lose with his mission in season 2. Those are my thoughts.
Oh. Anybody else have any thoughts on Peace specifically?
I think that he was like just to go in a little bit more on that point about narcissism. Like, I think this was really like a character study on his narcissism. And I actually one of the parts that I like the earlier ones, and probably I think the first episode when the inspector that's trying to work with him or trying to get him to help find the other Lokis or whatever, like the series of questions that he's asking them in those therapy sessions, and like he's getting increasingly frustrated, but breaks down and actually like answers. And when he was talking about like, oh, he finally broke down, was like he doesn't really get enjoyment from doing what he does to people. Like it's not hurting people. It's not enjoyment that he gets from it, but like he feels like he's playing a role that he has to play. Like it's part of the mask that he wears. It's part of like the thing that he's put on. So like I'm very interested to see if the next season goes in more into chipping that away.
Yeah.
But you can't do it too much because then like you don't want to understand Loki too much. Because after it'll be good for the series, but then after it, Loki as a product is kind of ruined for us.
Yeah, he needs to stay the god of chaos somewhat, right? So
isn't he the god of mischief?
Yeah, mischief and chaos, yeah.
Now, one of the things that
good one.
expectations.
Brooks is nerd adjacent.
The one thing I know. That's why I had to clarify. Sorry.
As
like she really knew that too. She wanted you to know she knew it. She said, "No, mischief."
Expectations versus reality. With this show, what I expected, I did not get. And like my expectations of, oh, we've got this fun Loki who's gonna bounce around and be fun and be energetic and be chaotic and be, applying mischief wherever he goes. And we sort of got peaks of that. But for the most part, after episode 2, it was Loki therapy. Whether it was Loki therapy with Mobius or Loki therapy with Sylvie on the train and Loki therapy with other Lokis. Like, there was very much Loki therapy time. And it was a great breakdown of a character. And if the more you like character moments and character growth and things like that for that character, great, the more you like this show. But I think there was a certain elements of the fun, interesting Loki that I think missed. And it kind of in the Sylvie character. So we'll go into the Sylvie character now, where she got to be some of that, a little bit mean, but things mostly out of the fact that she's missing the thing. And so she's trying to correct it, but not always getting it right, but not trusting people, the whole shebang. So, Mike or Roxy, do you have anything you want to say about the Sylvie character and how they presented her and her arc here, going from Brooklyn to, oh wait, she's still the same character at the end, even though she sort of has some ideas, maybe trusts Loki, but then doesn't at the end. What did you think of that character and what she went through?
I'm going to give this to Mike. I didn't love Loki. So I didn't love the series. So I don't know. It just wasn't interesting for me. It didn't do it. I know you guys all loved it.
Not enough family for you.
You
actually there was
love Fast Saga so much. Just embrace it.
Yeah, up to 5, maybe 6.
We talk
Are
about
you
it
saying that
all the time?
You saying that he doth protest much?
Yes, it's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah, so I'm gonna throw this to Mike. I'm not the right one to talk about it. Didn't love it. Went from hating it to just not loving it. So
was there anything in the show that you did watch that was like, oh, this is interesting, but it's too late type of thing?
Owen Wilson annoys the shit out of me. Like I cannot watch anything that he's in except Wedding Crashers. The only thing I can watch that he's in is Wedding Crashers. Everything else makes me want to bang my head against the wall. And so he just completely ruins this.
You don't like Owen? You
Ferrell.
No.
You don't like what's his name either? Like
Will Ferrell, right? Yeah.
Ferrell,
he's the absolute fucking worst comedian I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my god, I watched Sam again the other day. That was so funny.
Little kids balloons, like around the parks. Like I don't understand how they're just lovable comedic actors. Like everybody likes them. Like how do you not like these guys? Like, oh, I hate them. Detest them.
I hate them.
What do they do?
Hate. If I saw Will Ferrell in person, my first reaction would be to punch him in the face because I hate him so much.
Wow.
I
hate
cannot
is strong in this one.
I don't know who hurt you, but you need a hug or something. Wow.
Okay, so Sylvia,
this is just
had an interesting. She had an interesting arc throughout the season, and I'm glad it didn't end with her becoming a good guy either. She wasn't a good guy at the end. You know, it was kind of shocking when, after everything He Who Remains explained to her, and even Loki was like, no, we shouldn't do this. At the end, she was like, nah, fuck it, and she killed the guy anyway, right? So and
Yeah,
basically
I like
started off
that.
this chain of events.
I
So
like that.
Well, I mean,
I'm definitely.
if
Mhm.
sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I'm looking forward to what happens in the season 2 and the connections to the multiverse of madness, etc. Right, because of it. So
And
Well,
that's the thing about the show. We're doing character studies of Loki and Sylvie, and I know Chris and I we talked about this versus WandaVision. There's a bigger aspect of this show is how it fingers into the rest of the MCU that we have to talk about. Like the show, unlike Wanda, unlike Captain America, well, maybe not really Wanda. Definitely not Falcon and Winter Soldier.
all have little connections. Of course, they're going to affect some way, but this one is a direct. Hey, shit's changed. Like the entire MCU, as you know it, has changed.
As you know, it's changed. Remember those little Infinity Stones? They're like jewelries for like the baby.
yeah.
But also like, hey, the things you know happened. This is the explanation for all the shit that you've been questioning. I mean, that was the biggest thing for me. Was like, oh, that answers a lot of questions. Like it really does. And as for the Sylvie thing, I mean, whether or not you believe him, you see this guy and he says, "Hey, I'm kind of keeping shit in line, or else it all goes wrong." But you also figure out that this is the guy that caused you all your grief. This is the guy that decided that you needed to be you in your childhood needed to be picked up and just tossed away.
Hijack your
And
life,
that
yeah.
the life has been running from this guy's idea of what your life should be. And so I don't blame Sylvie for being like, no, I don't trust him. No, I think he needs to die. And we really should let people be free. And that was an interesting. I watched a video. I forget who it was by, about how, and we'll get into a little bit about the King, the Conqueror, whatever stuff. But this guy pitted Loki and Sylvie against each other. This whole final episode was all about taking these two Lokis. It's kind of like almost the same character in different times of life, and saying, "Hey, you have to decide whether the bigger idea of the world and is that more important, or is it more important that you think that you should not be in control, that the world should be whatever the hell it decides it should be, and let everything go crazy." And this actually started right from the beginning with the first thing with showing Loki standing in front of the people and saying, "You guys don't deserve free will. You just have to listen to me." And now he's sitting in front of a guy who says, "You shouldn't have free will because shit goes wrong. So you all have to listen to me."
Yeah.
And have Loki decide, does this agree with it? Does he not agree with it? It's a rather interesting mental that was played through this whole series of going, do I agree with that? Is that important?
And that's so special about this show because, I looked at since the show aired, there's been some detractors, there's been some people who are great fans. And then when I'm looking at the negative feedback, it's like folks are expecting like a big blockbuster type of explosion finale, CGI battle. They weren't quite understanding this was a character. This was really about the Loki, the main Loki character, as well as the variant Loki Sylvie, bathed in the spectacle of like action sequences and stuff. Like to Keith's point earlier that he mentioned, that I kind of mentioned earlier, but he really dug into better than I did, was the therapy of Loki's character and the fact that he understood he's a narcissist and he understood what his role in the universe was. But now you put this equation with He Who Remains telling him, hey, listen, yeah, this is what you were able to do, but this is what you need to do for the universe if you're willing to do it. If not, then this is what's going to happen. And to see him calculating and thinking and talking to Sylvie, the only other person that we've known him other than Thor, his brother, to trust was Sylvie, and him trying to persuade her. And I'm glad that the writers didn't take the cheap way by actually having her like, yeah, you're right, blah, blah, blah. No, I like the fact that she stood her ground because that's all we've known of the character. And Loki was the one now that's looking at the mistake and realizing, like, I need to fix it. I gotta like he was sitting there near tears, and then he buckled up. He's like, all right, I need to do something. This has to be fixed. I don't agree with this. And then the finale, the big twist at the end. But I like that about this show. To me, just why I really really like the show is because it wasn't just your typical Marvel show. It wasn't just your action sequences and you know little peripheral at like deep emotional stuff. It was a deep psychological episode on this character Loki, which I thought I never was gonna get because I didn't really care for it after Infinity War. But that's something. That's why I put this show above Wanda and Falcon is because it gave me something I never thought I wanted, and I was glad that it did that the way they did it.
All right, so the last term discussion we'll have about the show is going to be about King the Conqueror, otherwise known as He Who Exists at the End of Time, or whatever they want to call him.
He Who Remains, Chris.
He Who Remains.
He Who Remains.
He Who Shall Not Be Named. What? So
James Dolan.
So Loki and Sylvie trying to destroy the TVA, trying to save all the mini Lokis and everybody else who's getting cut and destroyed, run into an actual person. Like, it's not what I expected to see out of this character. I really honestly expected to see
Mephisto,
a guy.
Miss Minutes.
Well, kind of, I hate to put it this way, at the end of Justice League, when they're looking through the portal and they see this guy standing there and he's got his hands behind his back and he's
Dear Lord, why bring that travesty up?
Right. And you feel like, oh my God, the guy, he's prepared. He's gonna go prepare to invade. Like, I thought that we were gonna get a generic kind of in just big conqueror invader kind of, but we got weird take, this fun character piece, Jonathan Major, and where he kind of goes off on this kind of silly tangent of, well, a little bit of, hey, I got to tell you the history because no one knows the history of what we're doing here. So, but what did you guys think of how they decided to display what is probably going to be the main villain for the next huge phase of or possibly multi phases of the MCU as just kind of this kind of wacky dude? Are you glad they went that direction? Did you want to see something?
Well, this version is the wacky dude.
He's
not going to be a wacky dude the next time we see him. We're going to see Kang. We're not going to see
him. But there's some confusion about that, Mike, because I watched, and not to give him a plug here, Tyrone Magnus's pod. He was livid about the caricature played by Jonathan Majors for Kang. He was like, this artistic incel looking character is not the Kang that I knew. And I'm like, wait a minute. Exactly. Like, did you not watch the show? Did you not listen to what he was telling? I know there was a lot of deep exposition being thrown, but he explained that the next time you see him, it'll be a different person. Like, there's
it's not going to be as nice as me, right?
Exactly. But I think it missed a lot of folks when they were watching this show. They thought this was the Kang that's been introduced and they'll see again in Quantumania, Ant-Man Quantumania.
It's definitely not. So when they see, next time he's on the screen, they'll understand. And shout out to that performance, by the way. I thought, which was fantastic.
Jonathan Major's killing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that it was out of, like I said, completely out of what I expected to see and what I expected to be thrown at these guys. It throws your whole expectations off because he wasn't in the fight. He wasn't like, I'm going to give you a choice and then I'm done. Like, I can't figure out what's happening after this 10 seconds, right?
And there wasn't like a big battle at the end, like boom, boom, boom. There wasn't any of that. It was
he wasn't fighting back. He was completely opened up and was just like, yeah, it's a bit of an info dump, but if you're interested in the MCU as a whole, this is more interesting. All right, I want everybody to give me if you have any last thing to say about the series, and I want you to give me a grade for the series. All right, Keith, any last words and a grade?
Yeah, to me, it was a lot headier than I thought it was going to be. There was way more depth than I thought it was gonna be, and they did it all without making it super corny. I got kind of like a I know it'll sound weird as a comparison, but like I got a kind of like a Logan feel from it, like
Yeah.
like the humanization portion of like your superhero or like it just presented a very human side of like Loki's mental fragility. I wouldn't have been surprised if like the last episode was him waking up. Like I feel like this was like some old mental
Bob Newhart stuff.
Yeah, total Bob Newhart style. But like I'll give it a solid A, because he wasn't even the only one. I feel like he wasn't even the only character that was getting therapy.
Yeah.
Right.
I love the transformation of like the security, the head of security.
B-15,
Yes.
yeah, B-15.
Yes.
Like,
Even Owen Wilson's character, right?
Even Gator Loki.
Brooksy.
Incomplete.
I'll be the contrarian. I did not want to see this, and I'm gonna be kind and give it a C-.
A C-?
Yeah.
Smoking some C- crack.
That works. What do you think?
So I would like next year at the Emmys, I want to see an Emmy nomination for Hiddleston and DiMartino for lead and lead actress for this one. That's how good I thought they were, and Jonathan Majors should get a guest.
By the way, shout out to the costume designer who built her suit around the fact that she had to breastfeed her child twice a day. That breastplate was like a little flap. Cool. She could pop out the boob.
We know how it works then.
And if
just saying,
if
flap.
If Don Cheadle can get an Emmy nom for 2 minutes in I think Jonathan Majors deserves one for this as well. So this is an A for me as well. Great show. I'm looking forward to what's coming up next on it. So.
All right, I guess for me, I felt a little hit and miss for me. There are parts I really enjoyed, and you're right. There's a lot of layers. The way it affects the MCU, the characters taking time and understanding and conversations and blah, blah blah. I'm going with a B. It's just not sitting with me the way I was hoping that the show would sit with me. Like, there's a lot to think about. There's a lot to mull over. There's a lot to enjoy. But I don't think it hit me the way the other shows are hit me. All right. Well, thanks guys for wonderful talk about Loki, the series, and we can't wait for series 2 episode
season 2, man.
Season. That's what I'm looking for. Man, I think I'm broken here. I'm gonna go find
watching too many British shows.
No, he's worried about his damn Chicago Bears and their quarterback dogma.
Oh, don't. Well, Aaron Rodgers coming back for another season really hurt me. I was really waiting for him to go off to the Chargers or something.
He was in Hawaii somewhere, watched the pod, and watched you talk about the Bears. Is like, call my agent. I'm coming back for one more year.
That's right. Yeah. Now we got hope that we can destroy his last year. All right. Anyway, thank you everybody for joining us, and except you, Aaron Rodgers.
Hey,
you can still come on the
follow
pod.
us on social media. We're at Heroes Peak, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Hit the like and subscribe button. Click the bell in the corner so you get notifications when we post our videos.
Tell me I'm wrong about Loki, please.
Tell me wrong, please.
If you want to sponsor our podcast, I'm looking for hair and makeup, so come on.
Please tell him he's wrong.
Everybody should. All right, everybody. Have a good night. We'll see you next week.
Okay.